Okay. Good morning.
Sir. How you doing?
I'm good. Well, thanks for coming. I'm delighted to meet the President's nominee for the Drug Enforcement Administration. He's got a great experience, including down in Colombia, which has been the primary success story for the U.S. counter-drug mission with Plan Colombia. But he's held virtually every position within the DEA, and obviously the single biggest challenge DEA faces is the flood of fentanyl and other synthetic opioids across the border. I look forward to visiting with him and our new ambassador down in Mexico City in the coming weeks to try to figure out what we can do more to try to help deal with this challenge which has taken the lives of so many Americans here on this side of the border. I'm the chairman of the International Narcotics Caucus this session, and we will be holding a variety of hearings about policy changes that we can do, additional resources, better authorities to not only go after the threat and to stop it before it gets to our neighborhoods and communities across Texas and across the country, but what additional resources they might need. DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, is a rather small agency under the federal government, about 10,000 people, which when you consider a country of 330 million and the countries that they have to deal with, like everything from South America to Central America and Mexico, we're going to be looking at what additional resources they might need as well. But I look forward to introducing the nominee and supporting his confirmation.
Do you sense any opposition to him?
I'm not aware of any. It'd be hard to oppose him because he's got such incredible credentials. So I'm optimistic.
With the drop in the flow of migrants coming across the border, I mean, do we see the fentanyl flow also drying up, or what's the current situation?
I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are now, but you know, some of this comes smuggled across the ports of entry, and the part that I'm confident is dried up is the so-called gotaways, the 1.5 million plus people who came across the border and simply evaded law enforcement. I know there's a narrative that all the hard drugs come across the ports of entry. Certainly many of them do, but I think it's just it's a fantasy to think that the people who were evading law enforcement during the Biden administration, the so-called gotaways, weren't also involved in an illegal activity like running drugs in the United States. So obviously we need to deal with all of those.
Senator, are you comfortable with how aggressive the administration's been on deportation? Specifically, we've seen situations where young children have been sent to countries that their mothers were deported. Is that the kind of thing you're hearing back home is the kind of tactics that they should be employing here?
Well, I think there's a lot of my constituents who are delighted that President Trump has finally gotten serious about enforcing the law and removing people who should not be in the United States because they came illegally to their countries of origin. I think that's the primary reaction I'm hearing. And as far as the children who've gone back, presumably with their parents who were illegally in the United States on a voluntary basis, I think to me that's understandable that the mothers, the parents would want to take those children back with them. And then there's about 500,000 unaccompanied minors who I understand are being reunited with their families and being removed from the United States. So this has gotten to be sort of epic proportions, the number of people in the country who came in during the last 4 years. And I think this is a necessary part of restoring the rule of law and security to our border and logic to our immigration system. There's legal channels for people to come into the United States, and we naturalize about 1 million people a year. That's the right way to do it.
Do you have any concern that Ed Martin, in his acting interim capacity, has waded a little too far into the political realm?
Well, he's still pending, his nomination's still pending in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, so we'll be dealing with that soon, I imagine. But so far, he's serving merely in an acting capacity, and we'll deal with his nomination very soon.
Senator, over the recess, there was a controversy involving the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, and his use of Signal.
No.
You guys were very critical of Hillary Clinton and her use of classified information.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have similar concerns about Pete Hegseth and his talking about military plans over Signal?
Well, I support the Inspector General investigation that Chairman Wicker and Ranking Member Reed have had at the Department of Defense to look into all of these commercial apps like Signal. There's a number that advertise their security end-to-end encryption, and indeed we learned during some of the hearings in the Intelligence Committee that some of these had already been preloaded onto government equipment, government computers and cell phones and the like. I think we need to get a good handle on this because we know our adversaries are relentless in terms of trying to steal any information they can about our national security, and we need to make sure that all of those are, all of that information is protected as much as possible. Right now, it's a little confusing to know what is and what is not authorized. I understand why the Department of Defense or some of the intelligence community don't really know what the rules are, and we need to firm that up and make that absolutely clear so that our confidential, secure information should remain secure.
Do you think it was responsible of him, though, to talk to his wife about this over Signal?
Well, I hope we're not trying to prevent people from talking to their spouses.
What about military plans?
Well, I don't think we know exactly what the facts are. So far, we've been told that none of this was classified information, and I'll have to wait the results of the Inspector General investigation.
Do you still have confidence in him at this point?
Yes.
What did you hear from Texas businesses on the tariffs over this recess?
Well, they're concerned about the disruptive nature of this change in U.S. policy, but they're optimistic that with the 90-day pause that hopefully a zero tariff negotiation will occur. I have confidence in Secretary Bissett, who's leading the administration's efforts in that area. I mean, the truth is, for example, that you can't export a pound of American or Texas ground beef to countries like Australia because they have non-tariff barriers to trade, and they export billions of dollars here to the United States. So clearly the trading system is imbalanced and it needs to reset. And it's understandable there's going to be some, at least temporary, disruption while that occurs. But I'm hoping that Secretary Bissett will expedite those negotiations, which I know are currently underway, and get to the goal of zero tariffs and open and free trade with a level playing field.
Are your constituents concerned about the higher prices? How much concern are you hearing about high prices back home?
Well, for 4 years, we've suffered from 40-year high inflation, so the price of everything went up about 20% during the Biden years. And yes, there's been some temporary increase in prices because of the tariffs. But again, my hope is that that can go back to, those prices will go down along with negotiated zero tariffs that are the administration's goal. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
Nothing else going on today, huh?
Still early.
Yeah.